And we're delighted to have with us in the studio Matthew Wang, who joins us. Matthew, I think you said from Toronto.
Yes, I am joining from Toronto.
It looks like a very nice studio you have there, a nice Steinway B behind you.
Yep.
And you're a student at the University of Toronto, and you're going for a bachelor's degree in music.
Yes, I am.
And will that be primarily a piano major for you?
Yeah, you never know where life will take you, so I'll start there and then we'll see where life goes. But obviously, just gotta take it step by step, work, do your part, and see where life dictates.
Where would you like life to take you?
Well, obviously, maybe something not too hectic, but then again, always learning something on the side, having something to learn, anything fresh, new. Just anything that gives me maybe a perspective in life, and also obviously the whole financially stable, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Right. And how old were you when you first sat down at a keyboard?
It's a while ago, so I started playing around 8 or 9, late 8 or 9, somewhere there, and then
Oh, so you were late.
I'm late. I'm a late baby
But
there.
you've come along. You told me that your initial repertoire was pretty standard, Bach and Mozart and Beethoven and Haydn.
Yeah.
And what sort of Beethoven sonatas were you playing?
Yeah, so when I started to get into that, obviously, I think my first one was the first Beethoven sonata,
Yeah.
the F minor. So I kind of already knew like the big names, so like Moonlight, Tempest, all sorts. And then
Right.
obviously, surprisingly, I didn't necessarily dive into those. I just did the first one for exam purposes, but then also later on, I just found it really fun to play. So then after that, kind of started going into maybe his early sonatas, so like maybe the third one just for
Right.
fun, and then more seriously, I took in the seventh D major, and obviously everyone plays eight, so
Right.
had a T. So yeah, and then after then, just bouncing back and forth between maybe middle, late, and then early, learning just bits and whatnot. So
And you told me that you've been delving into a broader repertoire in recent years, Liszt, and you mentioned Rachmaninoff, but you've always had your fingers in Chopin, as you said.
yeah, just something that I hear when I'm very young, and then it's like the whole gist of, oh, you're hearing it when you're young, and then it just kind of sticks with you. But yeah, more so I guess with age, I'm 20 now. We're getting all old, so maybe getting
You're
a bit
getting
more.
really old, Matthew. You're getting really old,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
uh,
I guess some of the pieces I would say are they don't necessarily stick to you with age. Obviously, they're still great and all, but I guess with age, some newer things are easier for me to start to relate to. So
but in the mix of Liszt, Chopin, and Rachmaninoff, you also mentioned Scarlatti, which is quite a outlier from those big romantic composers.
yeah, it was first introduced from my professor. He's like, maybe let's start something new, and then after I just queued up like a playlist off YouTube, Spotify, start listening, and I find it quite nice. It's not very Baroque-esque, as he's
Right.
kind of starting to, I think, from my reading, he's starting to kind of dive into some of the more classical ideals,
Right.
or not necessarily directly diving into it, but obviously there's some hints of it that are foreshadowing what is to come. So it's just very light, delicate, and then obviously something just a bit different.
Yeah,
So
light and delicate, I think, describes it. Each one is a little pearl, a little gem. They're very short, as you know. Some of them as short as 3 minutes, some as long as only six or
yes.
seven. But there's a certain charm to them all. Now, for Sound Espressivo, did you perform at Carnegie Hall, or are you about to?
So I already have done the performance. It was a few weeks ago in the last week of June, or July, sorry.
Right. Was that your first trip to New York?
I've been a few times, not in that area, of course, but it was pretty nice. I mean, first time at Carnegie is always, there's always a first for anything. So hopefully there's more to come in the future, but obviously I'll cherish the experience.
And what piece did you perform at that concert?
Yes, so I did the A flat, Opus 42 Chopin Waltz. So quite, I guess not as big as maybe the, Opus 18, the E flat one, and then maybe his earlier, those grand Waltz Brilliants, like the 34 set and whatnot. So, but I think it's become pretty standard in recent times with the Chopin competition, I think. So it's always nice to see that some of his maybe not as well-known works. I wouldn't say this is not too well-known, but it's not something that you would say off the top of your head when you think of Chopin and waltzes or his works in general. So,
right. And what was it like to step out onto the stage of Carnegie Hall up there in the Recital Hall for the first time? Were you nervous?
oh, I can't lie that I wasn't nervous. I mean, Carnegie Hall and playing there is always just nerve-wracking, especially with the hall with such prestige behind it. And obviously I can't, you can never always fight off the nerves. So I think it's good to be nervous of something like this. Opportunity like this never comes around in a blue moon, and sometimes you just have to work hard for it too. So yeah, I was pretty nervous, but I think I did pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with what I did. And the performance overall as a whole with everyone else was also very nice. So
good. So you're pursuing a degree, a bachelor's degree of music at University of Toronto, and I presume you'll sail through that. What are your future plans? What are your goals? I know we discussed you'll see what life brings you, but what do you think your own future goals are?
yeah, so I think I already started like teaching. So teaching music, I find it's interesting. I don't want to say it's kind of cult-like, which I would say kind of does, but not necessarily maybe the cult-like that we're thinking. But it's interesting because you can bring in so many life philosophical ideas and just into one subject and put it all together, and what it brings out as output, not just in sound and music, is all sorts of like life lessons, skills, whatnot. So I guess just being not necessarily a role model, but kind of maybe a member of among that society would be nice.
And do you see yourself entering any competitions as you advance?
That's hope. That's the hope. But I don't like to dwell on my ifs and prefer to dwell on something I can speak on certainty or with certainty. So.
Well, it sounds like you really have your feet planted squarely on the ground, and I wish you the best that life throws at you, or that you throw at life. And I look forward to hearing more about you in the future. And congratulations on your Carnegie performance, and thank you for spending a little time with us.
Yep, it was a pleasure speaking.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, have a good rest of your morning.
Thank you.